very good evening and welcome back to The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander. Tonight, two more stories will be featured from Jaden's collection. Right now, let us go to Jaden.
A good Friday night to all of you out there, and once again, welcome to The Midnight Man with Jaden Zander. And tonight, it is gonna be kind of a special night because this is gonna be part 2 of the horror stories in the prisons right here in Singapore. And of course, I will be bringing to you 2 more stories for tonight, and both of these stories happened at Slarong Park Drug Center, or SPD. So without further ado, let us go to story number 1. Well, the first story was told to me by a good buddy of mine who was working at Slarong Park Drug Center at the time when this incident happened to him. Alright, and just to give you a brief description of SPD, or Slarong Park Drug Center. Okay, in SPD, there are security posts put up at strategic locations around SPD, and one of the posts is post 3 that is located at sector 2. Okay, and this post is a bit secluded, and not many people like to go to that post because beyond the post is actually there was this very big forested area, and you see nothing but a lot of trees. So and it's kind of like scary. It's very scary actually at night if people would go, officers were to go on patrols. Alright, so this was what happened. On this particular night, this friend of mine, Raman, he was deployed to do his duty at post 3. So as per normal, he went up to post 3. And from post 3, actually, there are 2 fencing, okay? There are 2 fencing, and in between this fencing, actually is where dog handlers and prison officers go for their prowling patrols to safeguard the security of SPD. So from post 3, Rahman was actually performing his duty, and he from his post 3, he was alone. He saw someone walking between these 2 fencing, and from where he was on top of post 3, he can actually see that person walking alone. So as per normal, he thought that it was one of the prison warden who was performing his patrols, okay, his hourly patrols. So he called out to this person, to this warden that he saw walking in between these 2 fencing, but that person did not respond to him. So he called out to him again. Once again, this person did not look up, because it's normal if you were to call somebody, the person will respond by looking up. But this person was just walking, and so Raman took out his torchlight and shines it at this person. But to his amazement, he was shocked, because this person, after shining his torch light at this person, suddenly disappeared in front of Raman's eyes. You can imagine how shocked, how afraid, how scared he was. What I was told is that he jumped from post 3, and from post 3, if you want to get out from post 3, you must have a key. But Raman do not have the key with him at that particular point of time. So what he did was he climbed He climbed the fencing, and on top of the fencing is this G2 wire, and those wires are sharp, very very sharp. But he didn't care, so he just climbed up, and he ran all the way to the main gate. He was lucky because post 3 was not that far away from the main gate. Once he reached the main gate, all the wardens there saw that his uniform was torn and he was bleeding, and asked him what happened. He told them what he saw, and yeah, that was one of the scary stories that happened at post 3. Besides post 14 and post 9. And what I was told also, after that, Rahman felt sick. He was down with high fever for a couple of days, and he was out of work. Yeah, that story was one of the scary story for post 3, and it happened at Selarang Park Drug Center.
Right now, let us go to story number 2.
Alright, this second story also happened to another friend of mine who was at that particular point of time working as a prison warden at Selarang Park Drug Center. On this particular night, he was deployed to one of the blocks in Sector 3, quite close to post 14. As you know, that post was said to be very haunted. And in this block where he was deployed to, there were inmates, and at that point of time, the inmates were all asleep because it was way past their bedtime, right? And in this block, in every block actually, there was only supposed to be one warden to look after that block, their own blocks lah. And there's a table for them to sit, and there are register books for them to update every movement of anyone in the block. So this friend of mine, he was just sitting there writing his report in the books, and you cannot smoke. Okay, the thing is that you cannot smoke in the block itself or within a compound of the prison. But what actually happened took him by surprise. He was really shocked, even though he has worked there for a couple of years. Alright, as he was sitting on the table, suddenly he looked up, and in front of him he saw smoke coming out of nowhere. It was as if somebody was smoking right in front of him. But bear in mind, he was alone in that block. Alright, and he told me that it was clear as day when he saw the smoke coming out of nowhere. And not just one time, a couple of times. When he sat there, this smoke came out from nowhere. And what he did was that he went out from the gate of the block, and he stood outside because he was that afraid of what he saw right in front of him. And of course, prisons especially at Selarang Park Drug Center is very haunted actually, and a lot of stories happen there. And that is one of the story that happened to a friend of mine at one of the blocks at Selarang Park Drug Center. And those are the two stories for tonight's entertainment. And I do hope you enjoyed yourself with those two stories featured by myself. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment if you have any comment. Also, I would like to ask you, what kind of stories do you like to hear in future, so that at least I can take note of the stories for me to feature in future episodes. Alright, so till then, you take care, be good, and I shall see you again next week.
We have come to the end of tonight's show. I do hope you enjoy, and come back again next week for another episode. Till then, adios.